Hello, and welcome to the Performer's Guide. Get your act together 21-day personal challenge. We're on day 6. Today we're going to be talking about our start, stop, more, less grid. So we should have been tracking our habits over the past few days. You should have access to the habit tracker. You should have access to the no list and have started the process of monitoring and tracking your habits. So now it's time to reflect back on the past few days and start to set some goals. We're going to start to set some resolutions, as it were. New year, excellent time to be setting resolutions. I don't necessarily like to call them New Year's resolutions because I do this multiple times a year, and the New Year's is just a good time to reflect back on previous goals I've made and set some new ones. I often think that people put a little bit too much pressure onto the New Year's resolution, and it'll often fall off, and some will. We're going to set some goals. We might not accomplish all of them, and that's okay, but the first step to accomplishing a resolution is setting it. If you don't set it, you're never going to accomplish it. So first step is at least trying to set some resolutions. And so we're going to do this through the process of a matrix grid that I call the start, stop, more or less grid. And so what you're going to do is you're going to draw a 4-square grid onto a notebook, onto a piece of paper. And we will do this activity together. Yes? So there's 4 sections to the grid. We've got the start. Okay? We've got stop. We've got more. And we've got less. And so what you'll notice is we have start and more. And those are our positive sides of the grid. And then we've got things that we want to stop and do less of, and that's going to be on the other side of the grid. And then the top is our exaggerative. We're starting or we're stopping. It's full stop, full start. And then the bottom half is, well, I'm already kind of doing it, but I want to do a little bit more, a little bit less intense. Yes? So draw that grid. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create our start, stop, more, less grid. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to pick some start ideas or some more ideas. So if you are tracking your habits, this is going to be a really great time to reflect back and look at all the different habits that you've set and go, okay, which ones am I not doing quite yet? And we're going to put those on the start. And then you're going to reflect back and look and go, oh, okay, so these are some of them that I do sometimes, but maybe I could do it a little bit more. Like maybe you make your bed, but you can make your bed more. So that's the first way that we're going to pull our starts and our mores. So we're going to look back at our habits, and we're going to pull and put them on there. And we can also see ones we can pull and put onto our stop and less as well. So then the next is we're going to set goals. And we're going to start goal setting next week. And so you can start to set goals now that you can think of, things that just feel like they're blaring right in your face. And you're like, okay, I got to stop doing that. But then next week when we do our Wheel of Life, when we do our SMART goals, we will tap in deeper into our goal setting and be able to figure out what do we need to start doing, what do we need to stop doing in order to achieve our goals. The next is some ideas of some things that you might want to start. Yeah. So you might want to start or do more of. You might want to get more organized. That's a really great goal that a lot of people like to do. And I love helping people do in the beginning of the year is getting organized. So be that your home, your room, Just a closet, right? A lot of people talk about spring cleaning, but I personally like to do a lot more cleaning in the winter time because I'm spending more time indoors. This could also mean organizing your back end, so your Dropbox, your Google Drive folder, all of your business folders and photos and music, getting all of that organized so that for the upcoming year, you're just feeling organized in that way. So those might be some things you might want to start there. You might want to start exercising regularly. That's a classic New Year's resolution. It's a good goal if you're a performer to be working out, to be hitting the gym, to be training, right? Training, practicing, rehearsing. And if you're not doing that enough, then perhaps adding that into your more or start might be good. Maybe you need to start taking breaks. Maybe you're going too hard for too long, and you need to start taking breaks. I put that in the do, it's not a don't, because you're actively stopping. Maybe you need to start stopping, you know? The next is getting enough sleep. Are you sleeping well enough? Are you going to bed at a good time? Are you getting up at a healthy time? Or is your sleep pattern all over the place? This might be a good time to check in with your sleep. Good time to get that on lockdown. So you're getting up on time, you're going to bed at the same time, you're getting enough sleep, you're taking naps as needed. It's all part of rest, which we will talk about more tomorrow. Another good one is starting to eat a healthy diet. So one for me this year is I want to start meal prepping more. So I got a crock pot for Christmas, and I have been cooking more meals at home. And with one crock pot I can make 5 meals, you know? And it's just saving me so much time and money and effort to think about what I'm going to eat every single meal. And so if you can meal prep for each meal, then instead of having to think every single day of what you're going to be eating, and which can often lead to making bad choices, you can start meal prepping, start focusing on eating healthy and getting it into the new year. And then another good one that has helped me in the past year is managing my stress. So I have clinically diagnosed panic disorder and complex PTSD, which has caused me to have debilitating panic attacks, and it was affecting my performances, it was affecting between gigs, it was affecting our personal life. Like, my mental health was not in the best. And so I spent the last few years really focusing on that, mitigating it, managing it, and getting both the psychological support that I need from a therapist, as well getting the correct medication, and then doing my own deep self-work all at the same time. This could be an excellent year to focus on getting your mental health in check. So then you're going to have just random ones that are going to pop up that will be like, oh, I need to stop doing that, or I need to start doing that. And you're going to just, throughout the course of this 21 days, I want you to sit in with yourself. I want you to reflect on the interactions that you're having with people and go, okay, do I need to change something in any way? And we're going to write it onto the list. And there's 2 depths of this. One is just thinking it. You can just look at the questions and just think the answers. But there's a big shift that happens when you intentionally write it down onto a piece of paper. So that's why I always suggest to actually physically write it onto a piece of paper. Don't just keep it up here in your mind. Because I bet you next year, if I asked you, oh, what was on your start, stop, more or less, you'd be like, I don't remember. Okay, so here's some examples of some of my stops and my lessons that I've done over the past few years. So one is procrastination. Are you a procrastinator? Now's a great time to nip that in the bud. I used to have a motto that was procrastinate now, why wait? And I would just use that as a joking way to I don't know, give myself permission to be procrastinative. So I was just like, no, I'm not going to say that anymore. I'm not going to procrastinate. And if you are procrastinating, and we're going to talk about procrastination, get into motivation, tap into why you're procrastinating. Don't just let it happen. Sit into it and then try to get that cause dealt with, as opposed to just procrastinating. And so figure out what you're procrastinating on, why you're procrastinating on it, and start to nip that in the bud. The next is multitasking. We just can't do it. Studies show we're not good multitaskers in general. The type of multitasking I like to do is, like, for instance, if I'm working on the performer's guide, I'll have another task that I have on hand, so that when I get burnt out and I'm like, ooh, I need a break from this, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to go garden and finish that other project that I was doing. So instead of multitasking, I tend to have two opposing projects, one that's like mental, one that's physical, one that's indoors, one that's outdoors, one that's social, one that's by myself, something like that, that I can sort of bounce back and forth between to stay productive on both of them when I'm feeling burnt out on the other, and it helps keep my creativity. But doing two things at the exact same time, your mind is just switching back and forth, and then there's those microseconds you have to adjust. So it's just like time block, do the thing, take a break, do the other thing. And so instead of multitasking, we're going to focus on time blocking. Yes? Then we've got skipping breaks. Stop skipping breaks. You get more breaks that are very noticeable when you have a job, right? Legally, the employer has to say, hey, take a break every couple hours for 15 minutes, go outside, go do this. But when you own your own business, when you're training, when you're doing your own thing, I can go for hours and hours and hours on my own. It does not take breaks. So again, that's why we set our alarms. Say, okay, I want to do this for an hour, and then when the alarm goes off, go, okay, I need to take a break. The amount of times I take many, many, many breaks when I'm writing. Sometimes I'll even just get a little bit done, and I can feel like, oh, I need a break. And then sometimes I can go a long time, but you'll feel it. I need a break. Take a break. If you're not good with time management, figure out what it is and just try to nip that in the butt. Are you not giving yourself enough time? Are you overbooking yourself? Stop doing that and put it on there. Like, okay, I need to stop overbooking myself. I need to stop leaving 20 minutes later than I said I was going to leave. Whatever it is. I need to stop showing up late to meetings. I need to stop blowing meetings off altogether. What time management things are you just not in control of right now that you want to take control of? Stop unhealthy eating habits. So if we're starting to do meal prepping, the other side, it's on the no list, is what's your Achilles heel when it comes to food? What's the thing that you're like, oh, I'm really good, except for me, it's pizza. I love pizza. Everybody knows me knows I love pizza. And so it's like, oh, I'm really good about eating, but sometimes I could eat pizza every single day for the rest of my life if I didn't check myself, So figure out what yours is. Do less of it. For me, it's like, okay, I'm going to order less pizza. I'm not going to say I'm going to order no pizza, but I'm not going to order pizza 3 times a week. Just once a month or once in a while, Inactivity. If you notice yourself being inactive, scheduling time to work out is part of it, but then also limiting your other no habits, like watching television, being on your phone, playing video games. All these things require you to be inactive, usually, unless you're on the treadmill while doing those. So that could be a solution. It's like, okay, I can do those things while I'm also active, but then also giving yourself time to take breaks again and be inactive, but not too much. We don't want to be toxically always on the treadmill while we're watching TV, but we also don't want to be just sitting and watching TV all day. It's like a healthy balance, right? And then what specifically in your mental health are you neglecting? Because there could be parts of you that are like, okay, I'm going to therapy, like me, I'm going to therapy, but then there's other parts that I could still be neglecting. It's time to tap in, reflect on that, figure out what it is that you could be doing better for yourself, that you're just currently not focusing on. Yes? So that's pretty much the module. It's start, stop, more, less. And I just want you to tap into that today. And also over the course of the program. Start it now, but then when you feel and see something like, oop, there's one of them, stop doing that, then go ahead and write it on the list. And they are resolutions. So comment below what your number one resolution is for 2023. I'm excited to hear it. Have a good day.